with CNN political analyst Natasha Alford, CNN senior legal analyst Ellie Honig, and CNN political commentator Errol Louis. Good to see all of you this morning as we move into complicated territory here. When we look at this decision in Maine and what could come out of it, how much, Ellie, do you think this actually increases the pressure on the Supreme Court to take up Colorado?
Well, I think it takes it from likely to virtually certain now that the Supreme Court will take up this case, because if we look at the map, the actual physical map of the United States, now we have two states as it currently stands, and this seemingly is changing every few hours. But we have two states, Colorado and Maine, that have said Donald Trump is out. He is off our ballot. When voters go to the ballot boxes in November, there's going to be one major party name. It's going to be Joe Biden. And the Republican side, if Donald Trump's the nominee, will be blank. However, a dozen and a half or so other states, when you look at various legal challenges, challenges in the courts, state and federal, challenges to secretaries of state, a dozen to a dozen and a half other states have said, no, he's on. We're rejecting this. And this is part of, I think, the chaos that people feared when it came to wheeling out the 14th Amendment. And what we're seeing now, and it's not necessarily legally wrong, which for reasons we can get into, but what we're seeing now is different states reaching different conclusions through different procedures for different reasons. And that's where we need the Supreme Court to come in and give us some uniformity to all of this.
Natasha, to Ellie's point, it's not necessarily legally wrong. And I think what you're alluding to here is the politics of and how people react and the patchwork kind of all converging into one is to some degree dangerous or could be dangerous. And I think that's what you hear from even some Democrats who are opposed to this, saying, man, if there's going to be a way, we should either beat them in the ballot box or there's a bunch of criminal cases, focus on that, not this.
Right. I was really struck by Governor Gavin Newsom's response to this, right? Because this could have been a slam dunk. You think a Democratic governor, this is a Democratic-leaning state. And yet he is saying, we let people make this decision. We don't make this decision for them. So it's a slam dunk for the Trump team's narrative if you get more Democratic-led states that go along with this decision.
And we are hearing, we even heard from a couple of Republicans saying, I can't believe I'm agreeing with Gavin Newsom on this. But you see them saying, hey, I agree with Gavin Newsom on this. The clock is ticking here, Errol, and that is really what everybody's looking at as we wait to see if the Supreme Court is going to take this up. Maine has, as Caitlin just pointed out, until the end of the month. What potentially happens if this is not resolved in time?
Well, look, first of all, the Supreme Court is going to have to move, and they're going to have to move quickly. And we saw that they can and will do so. We saw that in 2000 when, there was a lot on the line, and they kind of stay up late, work on the weekend, get their paperwork done. But the chaos could be quite serious, spread out among these states that have reached all of these different conclusions. Some states have really tended toward the conclusion that, well, we are not going to keep him off the ballot, but we're not clear as to whether or not he'd be eligible to serve, meaning they want to kick the can down the road. That's why the Supreme Court has got to sort of really get their hands around this, because there could simply just be chaos, that there will be questions about whether or not Super Tuesday or any of the other different primaries and caucuses are legitimate. It will start to affect turnout. There'll then be a secondary wave of lawsuits around all of that, people feeling like they've been disenfranchised. This is the level of chaos that we have a Supreme Court to prevent.
Ellie, to that point, my assumption had been, well, the Supreme Court's going to weigh in and kind of solve all the problems, give all the answers. The scope of what the Supreme Court does is not, we don't know exactly what it's going to be, and it could leave some openings, particularly in a general election.
It's a great point. The Supreme Court is not going to just wave a magic wand and say, okay, all 50 states, here's how each of you have to do it. They can only consider the actual disputes before them. Now, fortunately, the Maine decision yesterday is specifically based on the Colorado decision. It says the Secretary of State writes, well, I'm basing this largely on what just happened in Colorado. And she says in the opinion, if Colorado gets struck down, we're going to get struck down, too. So I think the Supreme Court has to start with those cases. And I think if they do strike down or uphold what's happened in Colorado and Maine, that will definitely give some guidance. We have no guidance here. It's important to notice, right? We've never had this kind of challenge. It's never played itself out in the courts. So at a minimum, if the Supreme Court takes this case and rules, it won't answer every question, but it'll give us something.
Real quickly to that point, you said last night that you're not convinced the Supreme Court would actually take up the question of whether or not Trump engaged in an insurrection. That's one of the big questions, right? Is how do we quantify this under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment if he hasn't been charged criminally or convicted?
Yeah.
Can they really not take up that part of it? Because that, to me, sows even further chaos.
They cannot take up the question of whether he engaged in insurrection, and I think they will not take up the question of whether he engaged in insurrection. If and when the Supreme Court takes this, it will be about procedure and due process. Was he given fair procedures under the state law? Is it even up to these states and secretaries of state to decide this in the first place, or does it have to come from Congress? I don't think any way the Supreme Court touches the insurrectionist question. It'll be based on due process.
Complicated.
2024.
Complicated.
Put a pen in it.
Thank you, guys. Stick with us.
Well, Republican presidential hopeful Chris Christie will join us later on CNN this morning to discuss this ruling and a whole lot more from a very, very busy 24 hours on the campaign trail. And later, Secretary of State of Maine, Shenna Bellows, will join us live to explain why she made this decision.